The time, and it's time to talk TV. We call it On the Box on the radio because Chris Philpott does the On the Box blog at stuff.co.nz. Welcome back, Chris.
Hey, how are you?
Very well, thanks. First topic of discussion in TV world today is about the season 5 of Breaking Bad just around the corner.
Yeah, it starts July 15th in America, July 16th here in New Zealand, and they've released the first poster for the series, which it's an exciting poster. You've seen it, haven't you?
It's badass, is what it is.
It is awesome. And basically, to describe it for the listeners at home, it's Walter White sitting in front of two big stacks of bins full of his blue meth, with big piles of cash on either side of him. He's wearing his yellow jumpsuit, and the tagline says, "All hail the king," which implies, I think it kind of confirms what the implication was at the end of season 4. I guess spoilers for anyone who hasn't gotten up to that point yet. That the end of the season showed Walt kind of taking over the drug trade in Albuquerque, and while it was presented as a move of self-preservation, it kind of was implied that he was actually happy about it. And this kind of confirms that, I think, in a way. What do you think?
Well, yeah, and it really, if you look at the poster from the first series and now to the last series, it really shows how the character has evolved. Because remember, the first poster was he was in his undies. It was that scene. I think he was out in the desert, and his caravan had run away or crashed or something. Anyway, and he was looking really goofy in his undies, and it was kind of almost comedic as well. If you didn't watch the show, you would have thought, oh, is that some kind of comedy featuring that guy from that old TV show? But now to look at this, and he's ended up where we always thought that he would end up. We always thought he would be the kingpin eventually, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really the logical place the show's going to go, and hopefully that's where it's going to go with season 5. As I say, which starts in July. And it's interesting looking at the poster. I mean, obviously we can't read too much because a lot of posters are just made to look badass. But, I mean, if you're looking at it kind of semiotically, looking at the details, you would say, well, he's in a big warehouse, which could imply that he's going to expand his operations.
Yeah.
He's got the big piles of cash and the big amounts of drugs. So you would say maybe the idea is that he's really going to try and grow things in this season and make a run at being, as you say, the kingpin, Heisenberg. The kingpin of the Albuquerque meth trade.
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting. I'm really looking forward to the season.
And as you were saying a couple of weeks ago, that the season is being split up, isn't it?
It is, yes. So we've got 8 episodes starting, as I say, July 16th, New Zealand time, and then another 8 episodes starting next July. So it'll be the end of 2013 before we actually get to the end of the story, which is unbearable to think about, really. 8 episodes isn't long enough. I'm not looking forward to that at all.
No, not at all. All right, Stars, the network in the States, have agreed to bring Spartacus to an end. I never watched it, but I heard it was okay.
Well, Spartacus is a popular show. I mean, it's not too deep. It's just, kind of a period drama set in ancient Rome, but instead of acting like ancient Romans, what they do is go around and have sex with anything that moves and kill anything else that they don't want to have sex with. It's bloody, it's gory, it's just an exciting watch, I guess. It's a bit too skin deep for me. It's not deep enough for my liking, so I never really got into it. But it is very popular, and it Stars, the network that shows it in the States and makes it. It's their most popular show by quite a wide margin. Now, what they've decided to do is bring it to an end after its 3rd season, which is in production at the moment. We've just had the 2nd season here in New Zealand. The 3rd season's titled Spartacus War of the Damned, and they've made a deal with the show creator to basically just to bring the show to an end after that 3rd season. It's a really interesting move. As I mentioned to you before in an email, it's an interesting move from a business perspective. As I say, Spartacus is their highest rating show. Averages in America, it averages around 1.3 million viewers. And you compare that to other shows on Stars that are running, like we've got Magic City airing in New Zealand at the moment. That only averaged around 400,000 viewers in the States. Boss is another show of theirs that was really good, and that only averaged about 500,000 viewers. So Spartacus is sort of 2-3 times the size audience. you would think they would want to keep that around for the long term.
This is also a shame for the local New Zealand TV industry, right? Because Spartacus was being filmed out in South Auckland.
Well, that's the other side of the story as well for New Zealand. As you say, it's produced here in New Zealand, and it's going to be a hit to the local television production economy, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
You see New Zealand stars pop up in it all the time. Lucy Lawless and Craig Parker are two names that have had quite big roles in the show. And so with the end of that, it kind of takes away some work for local production companies, for local actors, and it's sad from that perspective as well. But it is a surprising move, as I say.
Interesting. Okay, another surprising move is turning the Scream film series now into a TV show.
Yeah, this is just a really interesting tidbit I thought I'd chuck in here, because I know the Scream film franchise is really quite popular, especially the first couple of movies that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, did really well at the box office and were big successes as far as horror movies go. Now, what's happened is MTV are apparently turning the horror movie franchise into a television show to air on MTV. They've had a couple of hits with original programming. I think we've talked about Death Valley on the show being one, which is kind of a mockumentary show. They've got a show called Awkward, which is a teen drama. They've got a show called Teen Wolf, which is based on the old Teen Wolf movie that starred Michael J. Fox in the 80s. And this is their next hit out to see what they can do. There's no details at all on the production yet, and there's no word on whether the writers, Kevin Williamson, wrote the Scream movies. He's quite a big name in the TV world now, being that he's behind shows like The Vampire Diaries. And Wes Craven was the director, the legendary horror director, who was behind the movies, behind the camera. No word on whether they'll be involved, but apparently it's on its way, which is an interesting thought. Yeah,
what do you need to make a Screen TV show? You need a murderer, obviously, and some people frantically running around the town trying not to be murdered. That's essentially it.
Well, that's it. I mean, if you think about it, like I was thinking how they would do it, and it just seems like every week someone will get murdered, but the murderer will get away. And then it'll be the same next week. It'll be like a procedural, but the main character's a serial killer.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it would have a long shelf life to me, but I mean, we'll wait and see what happens, I suppose.
Indeed. All right, looking at the past week in TV and reviewing Hounds, which kicked off on TV3 on Friday night.
Yeah, Hounds is a brand new locally scripted program. It's a comedy. It's been created by the production company The Download Concept, who are also the guys behind 7 Days. And it started, as you say, Friday 10 p.m. on TV3 after a new episode of 7 Days. It was really good. You didn't watch the show at all?
Yeah, no, I did watch it. I just got in, and from I'd been in Sydney for a couple of days, and so I just sort of got in late, and it was sort of the first thing that I saw. So I don't know if I was in the right frame of mind for it. I didn't laugh once.
You didn't laugh once?
No.
Oh, see, now I thought it was really funny. I mean, it's very new comedy. You look at shows like Louie and Community and 30 Rock, these shows that are, they work on kind of awkward comedy as opposed to flat-out slapstick. And I thought Hounds did a really good job of tapping into that. Definitely awkwardness seems to be kind of the default humour mechanism for New Zealanders these days. And it did a really good job of that, I thought. The main character, Toby Sharp, he plays Will, the main character, who's kind of the smarmy big city lawyer, but he comes across ultimately as likeable. Had a really good supporting cast there. He's got a half-sister named Lily, I think her name was, who is just really funny. She's sarcastic to him all the time, and there's a dog trainer there. Basically, the storyline is Will's dad dies and leaves him his house and his greyhound, which does greyhound racing, hence the name Hounds. So part of it's at the racetrack. Yeah, I thought it was quite good. I'm surprised that you say you didn't laugh at all.
I think maybe I went a couple of times.
No, I thought it was pretty laugh out loud funny. Did you just not like the style of it? Was it? Yeah. Or it just wasn't a comedy in your eyes, maybe?
Well, no, certainly. I mean, it was definitely going down the comedy lane. Maybe I just need to get into the second episode, perhaps. Just getting used to these characters and the style. Yeah, I'll give it another go. I'll give it another spin.
I think it's definitely something new for New Zealand, though. If you look at other scripted comedy shows, sort of Waiting for Gatsby and whatever they are, I don't even know most of them because most of them are forgettable. You think of something like Melody Rules as being one of the most memorable New Zealand comedies, and it's an absolutely terrible show. New Zealand's not well known for writing funny comedy, comedy series anyway, and definitely Hounds seems like a step in the right direction. We've got another one coming as well called Golden, which starts in a couple of weeks on TV3 at 7 o'clock on a Sunday, which follows a New Zealand Olympic gold medalist who is now way overweight and needs to get back in shape for the next Olympics. And it looks pretty funny as well. And we're in a kind of a comedy golden age, I've always thought, with the success of 7 Days. You look at that. I quite like Would I Lie to You? I didn't like it to start with, but it's gotten better as time has gone on. We've got a batch of really good stand-up comedians and comedy writers in this country now. And it just seems like the logical next step is to start writing some comedy shows. And these might be the first 2 successful ones, perhaps. Okay,
good. All right, well, I'll check it out again this Friday. What else is coming up?
Well, we've got the Sunday, starting Sunday 8:30 on 1. The Sunday Theatre New Zealand season starts again with Safe House, which is about a witness protection thing in the 80s. I'm not too sure of the complete details of it. I don't have it in front of me. But the New Zealand series of Sunday Theatre last year was really good. You might remember there was an episode about Billy T. James. There was one about the riots with the Springbok tour in the 80s, and it was a really good series of shows, of original films based on true stories. And there's another 4 coming this year as well. The first one this Sunday 8:30 on 1, definitely worth checking out. And then next Tuesday we've got 2 returning series coming back. Hawaii Five-0 starts 9:30 next Tuesday on TV3. Now Hawaii Five-0, the remake, I quite liked it, and they took it off the air really quickly. Didn't do too well for TV3, but they're giving Series 2 another run. Terry O'Quinn, who played Locke on Lost, is joining the cast this season, so it should be pretty interesting. And then 10 o'clock next Tuesday night, speaking of awkward surreal comedies, Louie starts on Comedy Central at 10 o'clock next Tuesday. Now, Louie is probably my favourite comedy show.
Yeah, you're a big fan.
I've already seen the series, and it is really well done. And
you're kind of likening Hounds and the style, that awkward, surreal sort of comedy.
It's that kind of awkward. Yeah, it is. It is awkward, really eclectic kind of style. The thing with Louis that sets it so far ahead of everything else in my mind is that it's still a brilliant show, even when it isn't funny. The mark of a comedy, you kind of think of a comedy show as if it's not making me laugh, then it's failing. With Louis, it will make you laugh out loud, but a lot of the time there's kind of these poignant, serious moments that go on, and the show is still brilliant at those times, and definitely worth watching.
All right. Also worth watching and reading is the On the Box blog up at stuff.co.nz in the entertainment section, and also Chris's tweets as well. He tweets over at twitter.com/Chris Philpott NZ. Thanks, Chris. See you next week.
Thank you.